Hey mom, can I have a quarter? Hey, Fragorn here. Get my second build for the Legacy of Phrecia event. This is my boss killer. I'm going to go with the Herald of Agony build using the Agony Crawler as the main damage source. Agony Crawler with Herald of Agony has been a good bosser for a long time, a lot of different variations. Recently in Settlers League, it's been used with the Svalin Shield with a lot of block for defenses. Historically, it was used with a Marauder Juggernaut with just the natural defenses of that Ascendancy, because the Agony Crawler does everything by itself and you don't really need to support it. Normally, I'd start by talking about this Ascendancy, but I think I'm going to show you guys a little bit about Agony Crawler first. So let's find that. Here we go. Agony Crawler. Okay, so this is a Herald, and we're going to use the Herald as our Ascendancy because it goes hand in hand with the Agony Crawler. So what happens is when you poison an enemy, or apply poison to anything really, we're going to actually poison ourselves in this build too. You get a stack of virulence, and once you have virulence, this Agony Crawler will shoot out of the ground, and it's this little green spider looking, scorpion looking guy who has a couple of different abilities, but the main one is a like a 5-shot projectile attack, and that's what will scale the most. And we're going to start it with poison and transition into just pure damage later. But poison is easy to scale early game, so that's what we're going to start with. So the main way to scale this guy is to get more virulence. Each stack of virulence gives you flat damage, attack speed, and increased damage. So that's why you don't need to really support this guy with anything other than levels and virulence. He brings his own attack speed, he brings his own damage, and adding 10% minion damage when say you have 50 stacks of virulence at 11% per stack, that doesn't really add much to bring 10% more minion damage from a node on the tree. Not that we won't get some of that, but it's not. This guy does his own damage. The only problem with him is his clear kind of stinks, and I've never tried supporting him with chain, but I'm going to in this video. I'll talk about skill gems later. So a couple of other things you can do to get virulence is the Herald Ascendancy is going to give us virulence, and there's also passive cluster jewels. The mediums with the Heralds give you 5 to maximum virulence if you can get the pure agony notable on your medium cluster jewel. These are hard to craft. You can throw a lot of crafting materials at these to get this pure agony. So I would probably just buy them. They may be a little spendy, but it's probably cheaper than trying to craft them yourself. You might have better luck than me. I've never had much luck crafting these, and I have done a couple of agony builds in the past. So this is going to give you 5 more only, but 5 is a lot when you're looking at what we're going to try to do is get our heralds to level 29. That's where you get a breakpoint from 1% of extra attack speed for virulence. And after 29, there's no reason to scale them any higher, in my opinion. So 5 gives you, that's 5 times 122 to 226 flat damage. 6% attack speed turns into 30% attack speed and 55% increased damage. And you can just see just how much this is going to stack with virulence if you can get into that 75, 80 virulence range. And it's hard to get there, but we'll see if we can do it. I've got a couple of ideas I think I'm going to try. So that's it for the Herald of Agony Crawler. That's your damage doer. He also gives you a chance to apply poison, 20% chance to poison on hit, which is nice. We want to be poisoning a lot. So here's how we're going to do some of that stuff. Let's look at the tree first and see what we're going to get out of this Agony Crawler. So the Herald is a witch base. You start at the witch starting point. It's another one where you're forced to take the first node. You can't go outside of the Ascendancy until you start with Common Calamity. So we lose aura skills, which is a big downside. It stinks. But we get 200% reservation efficiency of Herald skills. That really solves our problem for reserving all the 6-linked Herald of Agony. I'm not sure it'll solve all of it, but it'll be close. And if not, you just take a few points on the tree to figure it out. Or use gear to reduce the reservation efficiency. It's very easy to get a 6-link Agony Crawler. Okay, so that's your first. You have to take it in lab. And I'm going to take it right away. I'm not going to wait. Sometimes it makes sense to wait when the first ascendancy you have to take is a bad one, but this is fine. I don't care. I can level this guy with Herald of Agony. He will probably be my second guy, but I'm going to do this guy as if it's a league starter. So if I already have a little gear from my other character, which is a behemoth Rage Vortex character, you can check my guide out on that on the same channel. And if you like this content, please hit the like and subscribe button. So what we'll do with this is take it right away. I'll just let my Herald of Agony carry me through the campaign, and he will. He kills everything he hits. He's a Mack truck. If you're applying plenty, if you get 30, 40 virulence on things, he will do damage. And I'm going to have him be poisoning. So poison is a great league starter damage source. It's just always worked really well to get you through easy content. So we're going to come down. Obviously, we're going to take Coming Calamity first. With our 3-4 points of lab, we're going to take Future Nostalgia, which is going to give us 75 to Chaos Resistance while we have Herald of Agony on, and that'll be on all the time, and that's a fantastic buff. Chaos Resistance is a pain in the butt to get, especially early. So for league starting and at level 50-ish, you have 75 Chaos Resistance. That's fantastic. Also a little benefit with the 100% buff effect, and you saw before that Agony Crawler gives you 20% chance to poison on hit. And that's going to take you right to 40, so that's a lot of chance to poison. We're going to come up here to Scourge. So we're going to be going 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 to Scourge. And this is the beautiful node of the tree for damage. It's crazy. This second line there, 25 to maximum violence. If you remember those pure agony jewels that I showed you that are hard to get, that's worth 5 of them by themselves. And that's nuts how good the damage is going to get. You also get the little 66% increased damage to minions, but like I said, that's going to be a drop in the bucket compared to what 75 virulence is going to give you on a level 29 Herald of Agony Crawler. So it's awesome. The node is 25 to maximum virulence. The rest of it's irrelevant. I'm not going to use Sentinels of Purity in this build. So base virulence, I believe, is 40. Quality on a gem gives you 5 more, so it's 45. And 25 more takes you to 70 right off the bat. So it's nuts. Just nuts. That's so good. It might be all you need. You may not need any agony, pure agony jewels. You'll have to figure out if you're even able to sustain this much virulence all the time. So when you're at high stacks like 70, it falls off faster. So the more you stack up, the faster it falls off. When you're at just like 30 or 25, it falls really slow. It ticks down very slowly. So you'll see that as you try this in the build. You would think we'd go up here to make getting a level 29 Herald of Agony Crawler easier, but I'm not going to. This is very good node, but I want the defense. And this also has built-in mega defense that synergizes super well with Future Nostalgia. With the 75 Chaos Resistance while affected by him, you're going to get your Chaos Resistance to, for sure like 78, I would say. Maybe more, but for sure 78. And use Damnation. So coming over here after you get Scourge for your last points, gain additional elemental damage reduction equal to half your Chaos Resistance. You don't get Endurance, Frenzy, or Power Charges, but I don't really care too much. I'm not going to use them. So, my Chaos Resistance will be 78. That's going to take you to 36, 37 additional elemental damage reduction on top of your elemental resistances. It's going to be fantastic. So this is an awesome defensive node. If I find that I'm super tanky and I don't need it, I may pop this off at some point and just go with Apocalypse and be more of a glass cannon, or if I get tanky enough with other gear type of character, or if I can bust bosses down so fast that the fights won't last and you don't need to have defenses, Your damage is your defense. I might do that. So we'll see. But for just cruising around, this is going to be very strong as you're leveling up to 95, 96, 94, whatever you want to cap. 100 if you want to take it all the way up there. So that's the Ascendancy. Coming Calamity. Future Nostalgia. Big buff to Chaos Resistance. Scourge, massive buff to Virulence. And Damnation, massive defense based on having all that Chaos Resistance. I'll talk about with my gear stuff and other things, how you're going to get to the easy 78 Chaos Resistance. So let's look at that right now. I've got a character pulled up here that is a witch from a couple leagues ago. You don't pay any attention to this stuff. The only thing that's on here that matters is the body armor that we're going to start with. We won't have a 6-link corrupted, nice Dendro bait, but you will have a 4-link one, like easy peasy, day one of the league if you want it. Cost you a couple chaos. It's very cheap. And what we're looking for out of this body armor is it's got a decent chunk of evasion and energy shield, which is very nice. But the main thing is it has socket of gems are supported by level 10 chance to poison. And chance to poison gives you 40% chance to poison on hit and a little added chaos damage. So we're going to have that linked with our Agony Crawler. So he's going to have free chance to poison. I'm going to link that with, on day one, Vicious Projectiles, Withering Touch, minion damage, and probably swap in these two for clearing and bossing. Chain, and if I don't like Chain, I'll switch to Pierce, but I'm going to try Chain first. Once I get my 6-link, it's going to look like this, adding Chain, and then Unbound Ailments to increase the poison duration. And then I'll switch Vile Toxins out for Chain on bosses. So that'll be my bossing 6-link. And that'll be my clearing 6-link. A couple of other things I'm going to use. Oh, I wanted to show you this jewel I made quick just to show you how you get your 78 chaos. Once you get Born of Chaos on one of your cluster jewels, that takes you from 75 max chaos to 78. So really nice with that damnation talent. Other skills we're going to use. Here's how we're going to get poison on the enemy. We're going to use Stormbrand. We're going to use Ball Lightning, but specifically probably Ball Lightning of Static, because then we don't have to stand there and cast it. We just throw it by the boss, and it hits him a lot. Chance to poison. You can see this is 1 to 2 added chaos damage at level 1. You're not going to level this all the way up. You don't want to hit hard with poison because you're going to be applying poison to yourself with a special jewel as well. So maybe take this to level 4, maybe 3, just enough so that you always poison with every hit, even if the poison you apply is a 1 chaos damage poison. Faster casting increases the rate that the Stormbrand ticks, so that you're going to get more poisons out of that. Let's talk about some stuff with this. So that's how you're going to apply poison. Ball Lightning and Stormbrand. Here's the Ball Lightning of Static. Why is that doing that? There we go. I guess it won't go away. Ball Lightning of Static. So how this is different from the regular Ball Lightning is, there's your Ball Lightning. It shoots a ball out. It's a projectile. It flies. It shocks. It sparks. Damages everything around it very quickly, like 0.15 second. It goes off, so it's hitting a lot. There's a Ball Lightning of Orbiting, which spins around your character in a circle like this. Also very nice. I might end up trying this, but the one I'm looking at is Ball Lightning of Static. So also this I don't need to level up because we're not going to be doing any elemental damage because we're going to use the Cold Iron Point, and I'll show you that in a second and why we're going to use it. So this, you just throw the Ball Lightning on the ground by the boss, and along with the 2 Stormbrands I'm going to have on him, you're going to have a lot of little hits ticking with those 2 spells in conjunction, and that's how I believe I'm going to stack my violence up to that 70-ish area. So I mentioned Cold Iron Point. It's a sweet dagger. This is going to be your most expensive thing to get early, and you don't need this right away. This is just a big boost to damage. +3 to level of all physical spell skill gems, And Herald of Agony has a physical tag, so that works just fine. So that right away takes your level 21 corrupted gem, Herald of Agony, up to 24. And like I said, we want to hit that magic number 29 number. So with this, we're at 24. Body armor, once it's corrupted, you can see the implicit at the top of the line, the 40% increased damage, 1 to all max resistance. There's an implicit you can get on this that's +2 to all minion skill gems. Very easy. They're common. And then you 6-link it after you get the corrupted one with the implicit that you want. There's lots of guides on how to do that on the YouTube if you want to see them. So we're going to get 2 there, and I said we were at 24 already from the Cold Iron Point and the corrupted gem itself, taking it to 21, 22, 23, 24. 2 from the chest armor, 25, 26. Very easy to get 2 to all minion skills on the helmet. Takes us to 27, 28. And then it's very easy to get +1 to all physical or all chaos, because Herald of Agony is also chaos. Amulet. So that takes us to 29. Very easy to hit that, which is why I recommend not taking this, because I think it's cake to hit 29 without wasting 2 ascendancy points on this, and using this as big defense is way better. Let's see, what else do I got here on this? Some more gear. Cold Iron Point is our weapon. It's best in slot for maybe ever. You probably could maybe get a better +2 to level of all minion skill gem type of thing, all spell gem thing on a wand that gives you other benefits, but I don't know. This is awfully good for Agony Crawler builds. Leper's Alms, super cheap. Our chest to start and our shield to start are super cheap. This one is awesome. It's gonna cost nothing, probably 1 chaos on day 1. It gives you a lot of block chance, up to 30% chance to block. It gives you a ton of evasion. You can see that 1200 evasion. A ton of energy shield, 245. A little bit of suppression, a little bit of life, but the best line on here for us with our start is 40% increased duration of ailments on enemies, and we're going to have poison on enemies because of our Agony Crawler plank poison. And shared suffering is a buff that takes ailments that you have and puts them on other people too. It's not really useful. The 40% increased duration and just the flat evasion, energy shield, and life is why I'm going to use this, and it's cheap. But this is 40% more damage. You're not going to get 40% more damage on any other shield that's not crazy expensive. So more duration of poison is more damage. It's simple. It's flat out more damage. So awesome. Keeps poison sticking longer. If your poison was going to tick for 2 seconds, now it would tick for 2.4 with this. And you can also scale that with other things like unbound ailments. So this goes up. It starts with 35% increased duration. It goes way up. You can get this, and I think up to like something like 55 with a awakened gem. I can't remember for sure. Something like that. Anyway, that's not for league start. That's coming later. So what did we say for poisoning chance? From the Ascendancy, the Herald of Agony is going to give us 20, and then that's going to be buffed to 40. This is going to give us 40% chance to poison on hit. So that's 80. And I'm going to use the Golden Rule. I wanted to talk about this jewel. So this is a single jewel slot jewel. Very interesting. 40% increased armor while bleeding. Don't care about that. Bleeding we inflict is reflected back on us. Don't care about that. We're not going to do bleeding. 1 to chaos resistance per poison on you. That's going to keep us very capped at chaos resist because we're going to have poison. Poison you inflict is reflected to you if you have fewer than 100 poisons on us. So when I shoot my ball lightning, a static, or my drop a brand, a storm brand on somebody, it starts poisoning them. Every time it poisons them, it also poisons me. So it applies 2 poisons instead of 1 every time it does it. And that's how you get your virulence to stack way up. Every tick that causes poison is going to cause 2 instead of 1. and we're going to be doing really, really, really tiny poisons, like 1 or 2 or 3 chaos damage poisons. And even if you have 100 of them doing 2 damage, that's only 200 damage a second. Your chaos resistance will shrink that down to nothing. You won't even notice it. So it's a great way to just stack virulence to the moon. Yeah, and that's all the stuff. Now I want to show you my possible passive tree. So we're starting in the witch area. I will talk about what we're looking at here. So a lot of minion builds will take stuff like this big wheel over here is all minion damage. But we don't need that because our Agony Crawler gets so much damage from itself. So we're just going to build this tree as defense, defense, defense for the most part. So just coming out, picking up this for just a touch of cast speed, and extra 20 intelligence is fine, but cast speed's what we're looking for. But we're going to go in here and grab mana and life, just flat extra hit points. Probably come down here, grab mana, regen, life, and a nice node. There's no life modifiers on Dendrobate, so this is a 15% increased maximum life. It's awesome. We will take jewel sockets, a lot of them, because we're going to use jewels that let us help poison, or have our minions help poison. I'm going to come down here and pick this up and this as fast as I can, because I want cast speed with brand skills, because our storm brand's going to be our main poisoning source. So this is how we're going to play. We're just going to come out here, we're going to chuck storm brands on targets, they're going to apply poisons. The Agony Crawler we can get at level 16, so we get storm brand at level 12. You can level with whatever you want until you get the 16 and the storm brand and the Agony Crawler combo to do your damage. So big increase to cast speed with our brand skills makes them tick more. I just threw that mastery on because they attach, like say there's a monster here on the screen and you drop your brand here, it'll pop over and attach. But with brand attachment range, the monster's here, you could probably drop it here and it still goes all the way over there. So it just increases how fast they attach to guys. This one lets us have an additional brand attached to an enemy, going hand in hand with this, making them take 10% increased damage from that. Oh, something I just missed. I just forgot about this. I'm also going to figure out a way to get a wither.
Hail, Godslayer.
And spell totem set up in here. Oh yeah, it'll be spell totem wither to apply withering touch, which makes
Hail, Godslayer.
wither increases the amount of chaos damage the target takes. This can stack up to 15 times. You can have a spell totem cast wither and it incredibly boosts your damage. I'm not going to probably use that when I'm leveling. This is for bosses that are hard to kill. This guy will kill everything without any wither for regular fights. So then I'll probably use the spell totem with summon raging spirits, culling strike, and item rarity just to help get a little extra loot while I'm leveling this guy up. But once I have him leveled up in the mid 90s, he's going to become my bosser and just focus on killing hard targets and not do any mapping, because I'm going to build another guy for that, my behemoth sweep and rage vortex guy. Please check that guide out, it's really cool. Where was I? Wither. So that brand will get you 2 brands, increasing the damage they take by 10%, because you'll have 2 brands on big targets. And then defense. So I want this because I want the regen. I'm going to use a couple other minions as well. So they need to have a smidge of tankiness, but not a ton. And if they die, I can just resummon them. I'm going to use Wraith Spectre to probably get 2 Carnage Chieftains. I don't know. There's probably better Chaos Spectres. I'll figure that out as I go along. I'm not a big Spectre guy. There's a Spectre Spectre channel on the global. I can't remember what it is, but you can figure it out in game if you need to. Just ask and you'll find people to get you the right Spectres. And I'm going to have to do the same thing because I can't remember what they are. But Carnage Chieftains from Max 7 give you endurance charges, and although I can't get them because of my ascendancy, the minions still can, and that's still 4% more damage per endurance charge, so 12% more damage is good. Feeding Frenzy is a buff they apply that increases the damage your minions do once you have it, so these guys will trigger Feeding Frenzy. I'm going to use Summon Stone Golem for the life regen to keep myself alive, and then I'm going to have them do Chance to Poison. I don't know, doesn't matter. I could probably use minion life too if they're dying a lot and skip this, but I figure I got it. Why not apply more poisons? It does help for vile toxins, so which is a nice buff for my guy when it's up. Okay, back to the tree. So I do take a couple of defensive points for minions, even though the Agony Crawler can't take damage. He cannot be hurt, but the golems and the specters can. But this gives me a little life regen too, which I need. I don't have, recovery is bad on this build for me, for right now. It gets better later. But for starter, it's bad. We're going to come up here and we're going to get our block. Lots of spell block. And auras are disabled, but
Godslayer, good day.
certain reservations that are very strong. Arctic Armor doesn't have an aura tag. Spell duration and cold gives you nice physical damage reduction and makes you immune to freeze. Tempest Shield, also a reservation, gives you nice spell block and makes you immune to shock. So that's fantastic. We'll use both of those. So we're going to have really high spell block chance, probably somewhere in the 55 to 60% chance range, and decent attack block, somewhere in the probably 40-ish% chance to block spell attacks, 45. So good defenses there. Not super great, but still good. I'm going to take this mastery for a little bit of life gain and mana gain when I block. It's a good one. Coming down, this is all minions do more damage, more cast speed for us. That's important to proc our poisons. More life, more regeneration, a little bit extra. Armor and energy shield doesn't really help us. We're not stacking it. Coming down here, this is the only minion damage wheel we're going to take. So what this is going to give us is minion accuracy. We want our Agony Crawler to hit. He does not bring his own accuracy, so this gives a huge chunk of minion accuracy, and then I take the one mastery for minion flat accuracy. This will make him be hitting really good, really frequently. Extra jewel set, because we're going to use jewels that give minions chance to poison. More block chance, and elemental resistance is free from this. Max LE, this is really nice. Let's give us 6% more chance, or 7% more chance to block attacks. 4% chance to block spells. Very nice. More life. Gonna get an endurance charge, maybe, if I use Enduring Cry or get a cluster jewel that lets me get endurance charges. I'll take the extra one, but I mainly come up here for the extra jewel socket. If I don't need it, I may skip these five points and not even bother. Coming up here, this one's nice. Give our summoned golem and specters a little more health, keep them alive a little more block chance. If I need more reservation, I can take this mastery for 12% increased mana reservation. I probably won't, because I'm going to get so much from the tree, but it's there and it's 1 point. More health, more jewel sockets, more chance to block. The Leper's Alms has a lot of energy shields, so this is 30%, this is 50%, that's 80, and that's 60, so that's 140 increased energy shield. That's a ton, plus a lot of more chance to block spell damage. So we're going to block a lot of spells, and we're going to evade attacks. We don't need to block as much attacks as we do spells. Coming over here, this is where we're going to take our cluster jewel. I don't know, it'll probably be a minion cluster jewel with looking for the what's it called? Getting 2 of these medium clusters in there. called Pure Agony to see if that 10% more virulence is something I can actually get. If I can get enough poisons to apply to get that. If not, I won't bother with that. I'll figure something else to do with those points. We're going to do double cursing. I talked about duration of poisons being more multiplier, so we're going to use temporal chains and despair. Despair lowers chaos resistance, and despair lowers the chaos resistance of targets, so we're going to get that on big targets. We're going to get temp chains on them to keep our poisons on them longer, make them slower. This is defensive and offensive, and we're just going to use an Arcanist brand to do this. So you just drop this brand on a actually, I probably won't do that because I'm going to use my brands for triggering poisons, and I don't want to waste it. So skip that. We'll probably just self-cast these. Or there is a another
Hail Godslayer.
another skill. Bane. There's a variant of Bane that you can get from a lab that doesn't have the applied curses have 25% less effect. So we'll probably use that. Whatever the variant of it is called, I can't remember. But probably use that to apply those two to bosses instead. So keep our maximum effect of our curses. We're at 80% chance to poison with the chance to poison jewel and the buffs from the Herald. That puts us at 90 and 105. So we're going to be poisoning on every single tick of our spells. Very nice. We're going to stack a lot of irons. We want to. A little extra life and energy shield, a little extra energy shield regeneration, and we're going to take Ghost Dance for more energy shield recovered when you're hit. And we're going to be evading with Leper's Alm Shield is a nice evasion. This is not super good, but it's not bad. So mainly looking for evasion and energy shield on your gear as defenses. The other slots will be +2 to minions on the helmet. On the gloves, the nice bonuses will be like resistances and maybe cast speed. The boots, I have these on this one, and this may actually be good boots. A lot of high evasion and nice chance to suppress spell. I'm not really focusing in on chance to suppress spell, but I might. If I find out that this cluster jewel is a waste of time, I may end up just coming down here and taking this suppression wheel right here and getting my suppress higher for more tankiness. Because I may find out that this crawler is doing so much damage I don't need to buff him at all with that 25 extra virulence. So we'll see. That's all up in the air. But that's the starter tree. And you can see I have a lot of leftover points, whether they go into the cluster jewel or they come down here to make me more tanky. It doesn't matter. There's one more thing I didn't pull up that I should. And it is called... it's a jewel for... It's a jewel that gives 25% more damage to him. What is that called? Well, anyway, there's another small cluster jewel notable that gives 25% more damage to minions caused by agony, by Herald skills. Lone Messenger, that's the one right there. So you can only have one Herald, 50% more effective buffs on you. So I probably wouldn't need the points in the extra poison with that. I'd get it just from this. Minions from Herald skills do 25% more damage. This is a good multiplier. This is worth taking. So we'll put that up in the tree here, and these guys will go away. So, yeah, that's most of the build. Trying to think if there's anything I'm missing. Like I said, jewels that give minions chance to poison. There's a poison cap, a dot cap of 35 million, which is more than enough to do any normal content in this game. but it's a cap, and you can get this Agony Crawler with massive virulence up above that, doing instant damage and getting him to crit, and using offerings and different jewels that increase the minions' crit damage and crit multi. A lot of that is there, so different things like that to go into min-maxing all the way up to super uber boss killer and really hard content if you want to. Other things for gear, there's a chest called Incandescent Heart, and a shield called so you could take CI, which is Chaos Inoculation, right here, making you immune to chaos damage. I don't think this is probably worth doing, but you wouldn't have to stack any chaos resistance. You're getting a bunch of it anyway, so I probably would never do this. But you could use that with the Aegis Aurora shield. These two go together really well. Actually, there's another one too. There's a nice armor that lets your chaos damage get split between different sources. I can't remember the name of it, but it's a body armor, and you could use that as well to increase your tankiness significantly. And then the Aegis Aurora shield. With a lot of block, Aegis Aurora, you'd have to get armor instead of evasion, change a lot of things around, but you get recover energy shield equal 2% of armor when you block. You could get a decent chunk of armor and start using this. I don't know if it's worth it. You can't use determination by itself, but you could use a special specter that you get from Ritual, I think, that gives you determination, and even though you can't get it yourself, you could from the specter. Other options, you could use a Dragon Fang's Flight with +3 to all Herald of Agony to get easy levels there if you want to. That works as well, so I prefer the other one. Circle of Nostalgia Rings, you can get these to increase your Agony buff effect, more damage, more chaos resistance. These are probably not necessary, but they're available. So just showing a couple of the different things that you can do. I can't think of anything else that's too important for this build. So the playstyle is just, like I said, run along, dropping Storm Brands as you're clearing trash. Just pop, Storm Brand, pop, Storm Brand. Agony Crawler, imagine this guy being an Agony Crawler, just follows you around and just kills everybody. He's going to do the trick for you. So it should be pretty easy. To level, the blocking will make you tanky. The evasion will make you tanky. This Ascendancy will make you tanky. You're vulnerable to physical damage. You don't have much physical damage mitigation, so you'll still have to play smart and move. But the build itself, you never have to sit still, ever, because you're just dropping static orbs and Storm Brands on targets, and you can move while you do that. So you're the best tankiness in the game of Path of Exile is movement. There's nothing even close. If damage is right here, you move over here. If it comes right here, you move over here. Your Storm Brand and your static orb keep doing damage and keep applying poison and keep the Herald of Agony Crawler shooting away at the enemy and wiping him out because he does crazy damage. So that's the build. Again, if you like this content, please hit the like and subscribe buttons down below, and hopefully this has been helpful. Thank you.